Hello YouTube and welcome back to another Dare to Game video. Today we're playing Red Dead Online and we're doing another weapon video. This one is going to be a repeater guide specifically for Red Dead Online. So you may have seen an old guide that I did a long time ago about repeaters. That was for the story. This is for online. Plus it's updated and this is as of 2021. So this is going to be an objective, just stats based and performance based weapons guide for the repeaters in Red Dead Online. I know a lot of people out there are often arguing about this one. I recently got into an argument with someone on Red Dead Online about it right before I shot him in the face with my favorite repeater. This list will give you stats all around, just the actual stats of the weapons in the game, and I'll also give reasoning and understand what weapons are better at certain things, because obviously all weapons are not made equally, and certain ones are going to be much better at one thing than another. But basically this ranking is going to be how many things is that one good at and how important is that thing. Because sometimes people will be like, yeah, but it has the highest this, or it has the highest this. But really in most situations that doesn't really matter. Yeah, what really matters is what you're going to be using that repeater for. So I'll be breaking it down and we're going to be starting off with number 4. So at number 4, it should come as no surprise to basically anybody that we have the Carbine Repeater. This is the very first one you can get. You might start with this gun. I can't remember exactly if you have to buy it, but if you do have to buy it, it's only $90. So this one is... Now, I want to clarify before I get too far into the video. None of these guns are per se bad. They all work. They all do the same job, which is mid to medium long range combat. On most of them you can put a scope on it, so if you wanted to use it for scoped you could, but a repeater is mostly your primary shoulder weapon. For most people are going to keep a carbine on them because it's real good for using on horseback, or if you're in a town and it's slightly longer range than a pistol fight. Like, that's what a repeater's for. Yes, you can use them for hunting. In early game a lot of people are going to use it for hunting, but the carbine is mostly just your primary go-to in-town shoot-'em-up kind of weapon. And all of these carbines do that job rather well, so I just want to say that here. But at number 4, we have the Carbine Repeater. This one has a damage of 60, and again, remember, as I pointed out in my revolver video, which if you haven't seen and you want to know what's the best revolver, I strongly recommend checking that one out. But as I said in that one, a person with a full health core and a full health ring has 120 hit points of health. So that's how many damage it takes. If a punch does 5 damage, that means it's going to take 24 punches to kill you. So that's how much damage it takes. So when I talk about the damage a weapon does, keep that in mind. And also keep in mind that headshots usually kill in one shot because they are, after all, guns. Even the varmint rifle, which I think might be the lowest damage weapon in the game other than a bow with a small game arrow. Even the varmint rifle will kill most people in one shot if you shoot them in the face. So keep that in mind. But this one has a damage of 60. So that's 2 shots anywhere on the body will kill someone with a Carbine Repeater. Which is why I'm saying none of these guns are per se bad, because that's already pretty good. That being said, that is the second highest damage out of all repeaters. So if you want a repeater specifically for damage, this one's not a bad one to go with, especially considering it's only $90 and you unlock it right away. It has a rate of fire of 53, a range of 65, which is going to be the range of all of the repeaters. But after that, there's a damage drop-off, and the Carbine Repeater has a very high damage drop-off after that. So after that 65, if you get to 75 or 80, it loses a lot of its power. So that's one thing to keep in mind with the range. The accuracy of this one is 73, which is nothing spectacular on this list, considering repeaters are decently accurate. And the ammo is actually the lowest ammo capacity out of all the repeaters. This one only holds 7 rounds, so that's 1 more round than a revolver. That being said, it also has the fastest reload because, you know, it's a tube style magazine that only that goes in through the stock and it only holds 7 rounds. So it's real quick to reload, but you'll be reloading at least twice as often as the next lowest ammo capacity repeater on the list. So it's got its pros, it's got its cons. It's honestly not as bad of a gun as a lot of people say it will. The repeaters are generally pretty good weapons in the game, but let's test this one out. All right, it's nighttime, which seems to be the appropriate time to test out repeaters, at least according to this game. So let's give her a quick shot. Get it? I shot someone right when I said shot. That is basically what I would describe as peak comedy right there. See, we're already reloading, but then we're reloaded. It takes like literally almost no time at all to reload with this gun. We'll quick test out the fire rate, see how long it takes to fire all 7 rounds. So that's pretty quick. Reload, and we're ready to fire again. So it's a decent weapon, honestly, especially if you're using it for close to medium range. As you can see from the accuracy, if you're close enough that the the entire ring is the size of someone's face, you're going to get headshots all the time. If you get much farther than that, you're going to need to give it some time to shrink down. And, you know, like I said, repeaters are pretty good weapons, so we could probably go all day doing this, but I don't see much of the point. So like I said, Carbine Repeater's number 4. It's still an excellent weapon. I don't want anyone who's a Carbine fan to get real butthurt about this list. I'm not saying it's a bad weapon, but out of the repeaters, it's the worst. So that's number 4. Let's move on to number 3. So coming in at number 3, we have the Litchfield Repeater, and I know this pisses a lot of people off because there's a lot of people out there who love the Litchfield, and trust me, I don't hate it, it's just not as good as a lot of people think it is. This one is based on the old Henry repeating rifle, which is an excellent rifle. Some would call it the rifle that won the West, or tamed the West, or whatever you want to call it. It's definitely an excellent gun, but it's only the 3rd best repeater in the game. So this one is $348, and for the money, I would say it's certainly worth it, because, like I said, most people will use repeaters more often than any other guns, except for maybe their handguns. This one has the highest damage out of all the repeaters at 65, which is why a lot of people like it. But in my opinion, the weaknesses don't make up for that strength, because yes, that high damage is excellent, but I find it to be even less versatile than the Carbine Repeater for several things. It only edged it out slightly because it's got the 2nd highest ammo capacity, so this one holds 16 rounds, so you've got over twice as many rounds as the Carbine Repeater, and like I said, it's got 65 damage, so this one, I've one-shot a lot of people with this one just on body shots, especially if you're using special ammo types. This one does have the lowest rate of fire at 50, so this one is a slow shooter. If you've got this up to your shoulder and you're popping off rounds, this one is pretty slow. Same range as the other one, 65. This one has a slightly better damage drop-off. It is more deadly after 65 paces than most of the other repeaters, which makes sense given that it is the highest damage to start with. It has a reload speed of 65, which is nothing special. A little bit, basically the 3rd highest reload speed, or the 2nd lowest, depending how you look at it. So not the best, but not the worst. And it has an accuracy of 68, which is actually the lowest accuracy, which is the reason I placed it at number 3 instead of number 2, because it was a close competition there. But for me, repeaters need to be accurate. Accuracy is actually the stat that I rate most highly in a repeater because I go for headshots. The damage doesn't matter as much if you shoot someone in the head. And so I'm going to care more about that accuracy and that ammo capacity. But the Litchfield is pretty fun to use, so let's test it out. See what this guy thinks about having a repeater pointed at his face. Oh, he should have drew. That would have been more fun. Let's try out some longer shots. Oh, shot that guy's hat off. There's that lower accuracy I was telling you about. It also takes a long time for that accuracy ring to shrink, quite a bit longer than with the Carbine Repeater. Like I said, it's a good gun for some reasons, and it's a bad gun for others. It's not very accurate, it's a little slow, but it does do high damage. And like I said, it holds 16 rounds, so that's not bad. So let's test out, same as before. Let's see how long it takes to empty out that magazine. So that's a pretty sustainable fire rate, but you can see when we're not waiting between rounds, that is a huge ring. So you got to be pretty close to people to be consistently hitting them if you're firing like this without letting it shrink. But then reload speed is decently quick. It just tilts the top of it off and then slides them down the magazine. Not a bad way to reload. I feel like there's someone right there. Yeah, if you stay nice and close to people, obviously this is going to be a real deadly gun because you've got 16 rounds and you can, you know, kill most people in one shot, even in, you know, if you shoot them in the lung or hearts. But headshots are obviously going to drop people as always. So yeah, not much more to say about the Litchfield. Like I said, real high damage, decent range because of the damage, but the accuracy and the speed are low. So honestly, number 3 feels like the best spot for the Litchfield Repeater. You let me know if you disagree, because I know there's certain people out there that do. But let's move on to number 2. So next up at number 2, we have the ever popular Lancaster Repeater, and this one based off the Winchester, I believe it was the 1884 model, or maybe it was the 1886 model, I can't remember. But it's a old Winchester rifle, and honestly, I can see why a lot of people think this one's the best, because it's got a lot going for it. First of all, I think it might be the most fun to use, just because A, it's the coolest looking, and B, it does perform really, really well, and it's got really good stats for most categories. The Lancaster Repeater is $243, so cheaper than the Litchfield, and honestly, in my opinion, better in every way. Like, when it comes, I shouldn't say better in every way, because obviously, the Litchfield has the highest damage and the best range for that damage to be deadly. But with that in mind, I just prefer the Lancaster for a million different reasons. So this one has a damage of 55, putting it at the third highest damage, or the second lowest, depending how you want to look at it. Rate of fire of 59, so that's the second highest rate of fire, right behind the number 1 on this list. It has a range of 65, just like the other ones. Accuracy of 76, so this one is actually the most accurate one, which is one of the reasons I really like the Lancaster. In fact, until the number 1 on this list was added into the game, the Lancaster was my go-to. I love that accuracy. A reload speed of 70, so it's actually the second best reload speed, right behind the Carbine Repeater, which is really good when you consider that this one actually holds 14 rounds, so it holds twice as much ammo as the Carbine Repeater and is only slightly slower for reloading. So this one is a great gun. Like I said, it holds 14 rounds, so that's actually more than 2 standard revolvers. So it's quite a bit of ammo at your discretion. Does 55 damage, which is nice high damage, and it's got super good accuracy and pretty dang good range, and the second highest rate of fire. Like I said, there's a lot of reasons the Lancaster is one of the best guns in the game. So let's test this bad boy out and have some fun. All right, I think we normally start our shoot 'em up over there, but let's test out the saloon this time, see if there's anyone in here. And it's dead. All right, so let's instead, what's that, the bank? Yeah, it's the bank. Let's see if we can get a kill with every round in the... Oh man, we blew it already. Well, 13 out of 14 is pretty good. Alright, we got 5 more rounds. Let's see if we can get 5 more kills with it. Really stretch its legs on that beauty accuracy. Where'd that other guy go? Oh man, hat shot. Oh no! You blew it, dude. You ruined our record. That's alright, we're reloading now. Oh, I can't die yet. Dang, we died before we were done testing it. That's okay. We'll quick test the other stuff, probably without killing anyone. So let's quick just aim down our sights and empty it, see how long that takes. Alright, so pretty quick. Now let's reload. Look how fast you're reloading. Trust me, as someone with experience with this type of weapon, reloading that fast would take an incredible amount of training and luck and dexterity. Like, that is crazy fast. But yeah, so like I said, I understand why people insist the Lancaster is the best repeater in the game, because I love this gun. It's my second favorite repeater in the game. Like I said, up until because the one that takes number 1 is the newest one. It was the most recently added one, and it honestly just edges the Lancaster out barely. So like I said, Lancaster is number 2. Let's move on to number 1. So at number 1, it should come as no surprise to anyone familiar with the repeaters in the game, because there are only 4. We have the Evans Repeater, and like I said, this one's going to be a bone of contention, but just look at those stats. The stats on this gun are so friggin' good. This one has a damage of 50, so it's actually the lowest damage in the game for repeaters. That being said, it's still higher than all the revolvers, all the pistols, unless you're counting special ammunition types, and you can always put a more special ammunition type in this one if you want. So like I said, that's the thing about this one that I consider. If you really need that extra damage, use express rounds, use split point rounds, use something like that to give yourself that extra damage. But the other stats of this gun are so good they can't be ignored. First of all, this one has the highest ammo capacity out of all of them. This one holds 26 rounds. That's a lot of rounds. It might be the most rounds that any gun in the game holds. In fact, I'm fairly certain it is. So you can shoot for a long time before having to reload with this bad boy. This one has a rate of fire of 62, which is the highest rate of fire. So if you want to just sit there and pump your rounds going into a door as people are flooding through it, this one you can go pretty dang quick. This one's beauty for that. Has a range of 65, just like all the rest of them. That being said, this one has a damage drop-off that's a little bit higher than the Litchfield or the Lancaster. So after 65 paces, this one is going to start dealing less damage. More so than the Carbine Repeater, but less than the Litchfield or the Lancaster. So it does have a max range. This one's going to be that short to mid-range really, really well. This is the perfect gun for that. And like I said, considering that's what repeaters are for, this one does it the best, so therefore it's really going to be the best. In addition to that, it has an accuracy of 74, which is the second highest accuracy, right behind the Lancaster, but it's close. Lancaster 76, this one's 74. So this one has almost the accuracy of the Lancaster, but way more rounds, much better rate of fire, and this one actually has the slowest reload speed, but when you consider that it holds 26 rounds. Your per shot reload speed is actually very fast, possibly the highest or real close to the Carbine Repeater. Honestly, as far as those stats go, like I said, considering the Repeater is a short to mid-range weapon, I think this one does it best. So let's test it out. So let's take a few pot shots. Last time it was 16, right? No, it was 14. Let's see if we can get 26 kills with this first magazine. There's 1, 2. Ah, I got run over. Oh, man. Oh, I hit the lantern. We'll get a few kills with it. One of the things that I really love about it is just that accuracy ring size around it. It's immediately when you draw it up, it's as small as a head at, like, mid-range. So it's one of those ones that, as long as you're not actively being shot or completely out of deadeye, it's going to be so fast for taking these like short to mid-range shots. Even when we're walking at that short to mid-range, it, you know, is decently accurate. He's afraid because that Evans Repeater is so deadly. There we go, 4 kills. So here's the reload. As you can see, it's not slow. Like I said, it's right up there with the Lancaster. You know, it's just, it holds so many more rounds that it takes a little bit longer. So now let's see how long it takes to empty the magazine. Trying to also use the rounds to my advantage. Oh boy, you could just shoot all day with this thing. There we go, that's the full thing. So like I said, honestly, considering the Repeater's job is that short to mid-range and you want high ammo capacity and high accuracy, the Evans just wins it for me. Yeah, the Lancaster slightly edges it out in accuracy, but very slightly. And yeah, it doesn't have the highest damage, but it's got high enough damage that it's super deadly. Like I said, I just like to rate it based on how well it does its job. And in my opinion, the Evans does its job better than any of the other Repeaters. So that is top 4 Repeaters, or all Repeaters ranked. I'd like to hear from you. So if you like this video, obviously I would love it if you could leave a like. And if you really hate the video, then I guess a dislike, you know, but that's up to you. But what I would really like to see is down in the comments section, what's your favorite Repeater? What's the one that you think is the best? I know there's going to be a lot of people out there really hating that I put the Litchfield lower than... Some people hate the Evans. I've come across quite a few people that really could not stand the Evans, and I don't see why, because I love it so much. But yeah, I'd love to hear from the comment section below. So that's all for today. So we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching another Dare to Game video. If you like this video, please leave a like and a comment. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the channel. If you like my content and would like to support this channel, consider becoming a member today for as little as $1.99 a month. It makes a huge difference. But in any case, thanks for watching and have a nice day. I'll see you next time.